Most men never realize that the way their day starts determines everything else. Their energy, their mood, their drive, their focus, and even the way they see themselves in the mirror. And what's crazy is that most guys think the problem is something big or complicated or genetic, or something they can't control. When in reality, it often comes down to one simple morning habit that millions of men in America do every single day without thinking twice. It's something that feels harmless, normal, routine, even responsible, and yet it hits your testosterone levels like a silent wrecking ball. I didn't believe it myself until I watched a friend of mine, a guy named Ethan, deal with it firsthand. And his story starts at 6 a.m. on a random Tuesday when his alarm went off the same way it had for years. He reached over with that half-asleep groan, tapped the screen, rolled out of bed, and walked into the bathroom for the same ritual he'd been doing since college. He didn't know that the way he was starting his day was quietly draining him. His energy, his motivation, his testosterone, and even the confidence he used to carry naturally. He had no idea that this one habit was behind why he felt slower in the gym, foggier at work, and less like himself in the last couple of years. He just assumed it was age or stress, or that he needed to get his life together. But the truth was far more shocking and way easier to fix than he ever imagined. Back then, Ethan was 34, in decent shape, not overweight, not unhealthy, but he would wake up every day feeling like he hadn't slept at all. His mornings were a blur of sluggishness, like his body was stuck in molasses. He used to be the type of guy who woke up energized and ready to go. But now, he would stand in front of the bathroom mirror with this dull look in his eyes, wondering why he felt so tired even after getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep. And like most men, he blamed everything except the real cause. He blamed work stress, blamed the economy, blamed getting older, blamed being busy, blamed his mattress, blamed everything except the simple morning habit that was silently destroying his hormonal balance. And the crazy part, it's probably something you do too. Every morning, the moment he woke up, before he even said a word, he would grab his phone and start scrolling. Emails, news alerts, group chats, social media timelines. He wasn't even awake yet, and his brain was already being blasted by stress, chaos, negativity, comparisons, and information overload. And this is the part that most men don't know. This simple morning habit is one of the fastest ways to spike your stress hormones, especially cortisol, at the exact time your body is supposed to be producing testosterone. Men are wired biologically to hit their peak testosterone in the early morning. That's when your body sends that natural surge of energy, confidence, and motivation, but only if you let it. The moment you flood your brain with stress, negativity, or digital distraction right after waking up, your cortisol shoots up, and cortisol is one of testosterone's biggest enemies. When cortisol spikes, testosterone tanks. This isn't maybe, this isn't sometimes, this is biology. High cortisol directly suppresses testosterone production, and nothing spikes cortisol faster than stress, especially instant morning stress. But at the time, Ethan had no idea. He just thought scrolling through the news or checking emails first thing in the morning made him productive or responsible. He thought staying ahead meant waking up and immediately checking notifications. Meanwhile, every day he was unknowingly sabotaging the exact hormone that gave him energy, confidence, drive, and performance. And the signs were already showing. He had less motivation than before. He felt irritated over small things. He'd go to the gym and feel weaker than the month before. His recovery was slower. He didn't feel that same fire inside him that he used to have. His sleep felt lighter. His mood felt flat. He felt like he was chasing energy instead of naturally having it. He didn't realize he was living in a morning cycle that was slowly draining him from the inside out. One morning, everything changed. He woke up, did his usual routine, checked his phone, read a couple of stressful messages, saw some negative news story, and he felt his chest tighten a little. Nothing dramatic, just stress. But something clicked. Because when he got to the gym later that morning, he felt completely off, more drained than usual, like his body wasn't responding to him. His mind felt foggy. His drive felt low. He couldn't lift as heavy as he usually did. He cut his workout short. And for the first time, he asked himself, why does this keep happening? Why do I feel like this? It wasn't normal, and he knew it. Later that week, Ethan met up with a friend of his, a guy who happened to work in exercise physiology and men's health. They were talking about burnout, exhaustion, and how so many guys feel drained in their 30s even if they still look healthy. And that's when his friend asked one simple question: "What's the first thing you do in the morning?" Ethan told him proudly, expecting praise. "I check my emails and messages so I can stay ahead of the day." His friend just shook his head slowly. "Dude, that's your problem. You're killing your testosterone before your day even starts." What followed was a breakdown that shocked him. His friend explained how during sleep, men naturally reset and prepare for the next day. Testosterone production peaks in the early morning hours. It's part of what gives men sharper focus, higher physical strength, and stronger confidence during the day. But cortisol, the stress hormone, fights testosterone like fire and water. When cortisol rises, testosterone falls. And what is checking your phone first thing in the morning? A stress bomb. Every notification, every email, every message, every piece of news, every comparison on social media is a micro-stress hit. 10, 20, 50 micro-stress hits all at once the moment you wake up. That's a recipe for low testosterone, low mood, low motivation, and low drive. And the worst part, men do it every single day without realizing what it's doing to them. When Ethan heard this, it hit him hard. He replayed his mornings in his head. He realized he'd been waking up and starting his day with stress for years. He realized his mornings weren't calm, they were chaotic. And he began to understand why he felt the way he felt. So he decided to try something different, just as an experiment. For 1 week, he made one change. For the first 30 minutes after waking up, he didn't touch his phone. Not for a single second. He didn't check messages, didn't check news, didn't open apps, didn't even look at the screen. He let his body wake up naturally the way it was supposed to. And the crazy part? By day 3, he felt a difference. Not a dramatic difference, but a subtle shift. His morning felt calmer. His head felt clearer. His mood felt steadier. And by the end of the week, he had more energy. By the second week, he felt a change in his workouts. He had a deeper drive than before. His strength felt more responsive. His recovery felt better. And by week 3, he told me something I'll never forget. "I feel like myself again." It wasn't magic. It wasn't supplements. It wasn't some complicated program. It was simply removing the morning stress spike that had been destroying his hormones. Once he stopped flooding his brain with instant stress, his body naturally restored the balance it had been missing. The best part: this applies to every man because the biology is the same. Men are designed to wake up with rising testosterone. But if you hijack that window with stress, distraction, negativity, or anxiety, you're setting yourself up for a day filled with lower drive, weaker focus, and slower performance. And most men never connect the dots. They walk around blaming age, blaming work, blaming genetics, blaming everything except the habit that's quietly draining the power out of their system. And it doesn't stop at hormones. When you start your day with your phone, you train your brain to be reactive instead of proactive. You put yourself in survival mode instead of leadership mode. You start your day responding instead of creating. And mentally, emotionally, and hormonally, that's a formula for burnout. But when you start your day without screens, your brain gets a chance to wake up naturally. Your stress levels stay low. Your testosterone rises properly. Your mood stabilizes. Your focus sharpens. Your motivation increases. You begin your morning in control instead of being controlled. You might be wondering what's happening during those first 30 minutes without a phone. Physiologically, your cortisol levels are still high when you wake up. That's normal. But what you don't want is an artificial spike on top of that. Because if your cortisol stays too high too long, testosterone gets suppressed for hours. When men protect their morning window, even just the first 20 to 30 minutes, their energy stabilizes. Their confidence builds. Their drive comes back. They feel stronger, sharper, and more themselves. It's not a placebo. It's biology working the way it was designed. And here's the truth. Most men don't need a new workout program. Most men don't need a new supplement stack. Most men don't need a brand new routine. Most men just need their hormones to fire the way they're supposed to. And the simplest way to support, that is the one thing almost nobody talks about. Protect the first 30 minutes of your morning from the digital world. That alone can shift everything. Imagine waking up and the first feeling you have is clarity instead of chaos. Imagine starting your day with strength instead of stress. Imagine feeling that old spark, that old drive, that sense of internal power that every man deserves to feel. You don't have to imagine it. You can create it. Today, tomorrow morning, the moment you wake up. No equipment, no supplements, no cost, no effort, just a small decision that changes the trajectory of your entire day. Because here's the truth that most men forget. Testosterone isn't just a number on a chart. It's the force that shapes energy, confidence, ambition, resilience, and drive. It's the difference between just getting through the day and attacking the day. It's the difference between feeling weak and feeling powerful. And the moment you stop letting stress hijack your morning, your body starts giving you back the strength and intensity you thought you lost. You feel more present. You feel more grounded. You feel more in control. You feel more like a man again. So if you've been waking up tired, feeling foggy, struggling with motivation, or wondering why your energy keeps dropping, start here. Not with some complicated system, not with $1,000 program. Start with the first 30 minutes. Protect it. Guard it. Make it yours. Because sometimes the problem isn't that men need more power. Sometimes the problem is that something in their morning has been silently stealing it. And the moment you fix it, everything else starts to rise again, including you.